Hey everyone, my name's Pupsker, and today in Warframe, we're gonna go over should you start playing Warframe in 2025. I know a lot of people have taken a look at the game since Tennocon 2025. They've seen some interesting videos and screenshots, so hey, let's get right into it and take a look. So everyone, if you've been thinking about playing Warframe, whether it's because Tennocon or not, yeah, we'll just go over a lot of the game today, and you can make up your mind deciding if you want to play or not. First and foremost, Warframe is essentially a horde mode looter shooter. So enemies generally almost infinitely spawn or spawn very quickly. There's a lot of enemies on screen at any given time, as you can tell. And your main objective is, one way or another, destroy all the enemies. Whether that's like in a defense style mission where you have to protect the point, whether that is a area defense, kind of like capture the flag type of scenario, you almost always have to just decimate through hordes of enemies while doing protecting or just killing, right? That's the general idea. It's a horde mode shooter, no shock. Most of the game will be revolved around horde mode shooting. You have Warframes, which are the general ability sets and characters. As of right now, there's an insanely high amount of 61 Warframes, each one of them having 4 abilities, a passive, and more. There are special operators that do void damage, they get guns and stuff. There's a lot of lore and stuff around that, so yeah, that's all I'm gonna really bring up if you ever feel like playing the game, but there's more lore and information about all the characters and whatnot if you ever so choose. But again, game to game, you're just going to be destroying everything. The game has hundreds of types of weapons. You have primary weapons, you have secondary weapons, and you have melee weapons. There are of course different like variations and types of weapons, weapon styles, you know. Think of it like light machine guns, submachine guns, snipers, heavies. So ton of different style of weapons between that, ton of different melee weapons as well. Some can be thrown, sometimes you can use a primary weapon with, or sorry, a secondary weapon with your melee. You know, there's a lot of combos and there's a lot of fighting, no shock, in a horde mode looter shooter. Your general gameplay is going to be fighting enemies into collecting all of the loot, completing an objective, or farming something up so that you can continue on doing more murder, mayhem, and loot collection. Obviously, in a horde mode looter shooter, general meta is high damage AoE or chain type weapons, and you can kind of see that with my general kit going right now. With so many Warframes and weapons though, there are also Prime Warframes and weapons, which are essentially strong mode versions of those weapons. There are a ton of variant type weapons. Eventually you'll unlock Kuva weapons, Tenant weapons, and Coda weapons, which are legitimately like weapons, but with a stronger base stats and usually like an added status damage effect, so that's pretty insane. And then endgame weapons, because of course there's even more. This is a 12-year-old looter shooter. Endgame style weapons are generally called incarnate weapons. Luckily, with a horde mode looter shooter like Warframe, most things can pretty easily be used endgame, so it doesn't really matter, and you don't need to have the most insane min-max build 24/7 by any means. Of course it'll help, especially with doing specific things, but with a looter shooter like this, you can just kind of run whatever you feel like, go around killing enemies until you hit some sort of progress stop, and then just go collect other things to make yourself stronger. Obviously, with a game like Warframe, once you get endgame, you pretty much have everything, so you kind of know what to do, right? But a lot of the game is the collecting, the learning, the discovering. It has a lovely quest line, which has a lot of lore, and a lot of it's also very confusing, but it is a fun time. Warframe, all things considered, can pretty quickly be played through as a main quest game if you just ignore all side objectives, just playing through the game. But usually people like enjoying the story, slaughtering through enemies, taking a look at all of the areas, fighting all the missions, learning some lore. A lot to learn, okay? It's a 12-year-old game. I'm going to say that a lot because I want you to know with a 12-year-old game, it means there's 12 years worth of stuff to farm, bosses and things to do. While Warframe isn't considered a heavily boss game, like there's not a ton of good bosses, and endgame isn't like doing endgame bosses and raids, there are tens of bosses like everywhere, maybe like 50 by now, depending on how you look at it, probably like 25 to 30 to 40. There are a lot of bosses. They're fun to run for a little bit. Some harder bosses that have more raid-like mechanics, some easier bosses where it's more just like fight them, avoid their attacks, and kind of shoot their weak points. So depending on the boss, some are fast killable, very easy bosses, some are multi-stage, multi-mechanic bosses. It really just depends what area you're doing, what boss specifically you're fighting, etc. and so forth. After all, a lot of bosses go through a lot of design iterations, a lot of reworks, and so much stuff like that. Either way, that's the brunt of Warframe. It is legitimately horde mode, killing, shooting, and destroying everything while you look through the story and collect everything. There is your overarching account level, which is like mastery rank. I am mastery rank 35 or legendary 5, if you will. That just means I've played the game a lot and I've done a lot of things. But a lot of the Warframe game modes, they have about if you want to try to collect the most possible loot through running like a survival mission, a lot of the long style missions have almost a 20-minute full loot rotation cycle. For example, survival goes on an AABC rotation, meaning to get the C rank drop loot table, you do have to do 20 full minutes of farming. So it can be very confusing. It is a huge game and it has a lot of drops everywhere. The thing that would probably help you the most in a game like Warframe is general guides, whether those be on the Warframe wiki, whether those be made by content creators or whatnot. This game is just a huge amount of information. They have like news, community and stuff. They have a lot of info there, but man, does this game have a lot of general quest and area. This is the map of the game. Each one of these planets has a ton of areas that you can go to, so that's kind of fun there. It has a lot of social features with stuff like clans. This is where you can get a lot of weapons, a lot of loot. You can trade with people. You can check out other things there, so not bad. Each planet is like a good chunk of nodes, so it takes a little bit to learn. There was a recent update, so now it's a little easier to understand the game, but more importantly, the game is going to have a fall update, which adds a new beginner's quest to help new players learn how to mod in the game, which is essentially applying power to your character and everything like that. If we look at the amount of quests this game has, the main storyline quests, a lot of stuff here. So probably like 30 hours of main quests, just running them, maybe 20, depending on how fast or slow you go. But it also has a lot of the general just Warframe quests to unlock things in the game. And they're just good, fun little quests, maybe an hour, 2 hours max for the most part. You get some good lore, you farm up some loot. Hey, not too bad. A lot of interesting side quests, which are similar to Warframe quests, but not quite the same. Yeah, they're pretty much the same, okay? In the general codex, this is where you can look at everything. I was talking about all the weapons before in the game, and right now I have 788 weapons, characters, things to just level up in the game. So over 12 years, remember, there's just so much to do. So you're probably not going to do everything at any point, but mods are just how you get stronger, etc. and so forth. So yeah, that's a lot of Warframe. The last game mode I quickly wanted to go over, it has like a roguelike game mode if you ever play that. It has multiple little areas and star charts, right? So this is the main map once you unlock everything. It has a hard, easy mode, battle pass, free to play battle pass. You can earn everything in game, but it is like pay to win in the sense that you can always buy boosters. You can always pay money to just straight up buy progress. For some reason, a lot of Warframe players go a little crazy considering the game not pay to win, but no, they're stupid or insane. The game is 100% pay to win. You can buy everything, you can just spend money for it, but it's a very fair pay to win style where you can trade for everything as well, or you can earn everything in game. The premium currency is tradable, so it adds a lot of opportunity and chances there. But if someone just ever tells you Warframe's not free to play, yeah, tell them that if you have $100, you can buy their entire account worth of things in the market. So yeah, not literally, but you know, it depends on the day and the person. So yeah, consider that pay to win when you can buy most things. But again, it is also earnable, so it's one of the more fair pay to win models like that. And since it has a free to play battle pass, it just contains a ton of like cool skins and stuff, ton of cool loot. Year to year, they repeat and bring back a lot of old skins too, so you can get a lot of different interesting items. I have a beautiful corgi glyph. The game has a billion side game modes, like Sonic Racing style. They had a Flappy Bird style side game mode. It does have PvP as well, but Warframe PvP is not considered fun, enjoyable, popular, and played by the majority of players. So there's a ton to do there with all of the different Warframes in the game. Like, these are all of the different weapons in a general sense. You just see through the list and you're like, okay, that's a little overwhelming. And those are things I've kept and not thrown away, because of course it's a free-to-play game. It has inventory caps and limits until you buy more. Eventually, and always, you can earn some free in the game, but to acquire even more, you'll have to trade and or buy them, so keep that in mind. You do get yearly amount of free loot, and a lot of it at that rate in Warframe because it's such a long-standing old game, so you just get a lot of free loot via weeklies and via paying attention to their social medias, but you're just gonna take a while to get everything, and getting used to the game is a huge pain, right? That's the hardest part about Warframe, is legitimately like learning the game and getting used to it. Might take you a lot of time, judge my fashion for each frame, but that's why I'd recommend like following YouTubers, guides online. The Warframe wiki is probably the best individual spot, especially now that Warframe Digital Extremes has taken over the wiki and it's on their own kind of like setup, so it's not on the Wikia anymore. That is like the old one. Either way, Warframe's doing a really good job in that regard for just general information. You have the codex and everything that we were looking at before a bit in-game. While that's good for information, it will never give you as much information as like a Wikipedia, Warframe Wikipedia wiki article or a Warframe guide and stuff like that, because there's so much. But there's also a lot of side info you can learn in game, and this game is just filled with information, so I'm so sorry, but the most annoying part about any looter shooter styled game that's been going on for so long, when it's styled like a live service MMO, is the knowledge curve to actually get into the game is huge. It has daily quest, or not quest, but daily standing limits, daily loot, a lot of daily weekly shops like I was talking about a bit before. And then, oh god, finally we're getting to it, the final game mode I wanted to go over, which is Railjack. They have a space battle game mode. The issue with the space battle game mode is it's not as popular or as fleshed out as it possibly could be for kind of a couple of reasons. This is my spaceship. This is the inside of my spaceship. I can go around. I have like top floor, bottom floor. I can get loot from there, and it's very cool and interesting. But this was an update that was brought around a handful of years ago, touched up on a little bit, but never really expanded on, because it really turned into just a casual click and shoot space game mode when you have some abilities and stuff. So while it is like a fun, cool game mode, and it brings some cool new ship tech and abilities, I have AI teammates shooting everyone down right now, and that's why they're dying so fast. Right? It's interesting, it's cool, but it's just not quite enough. And you can jump off the ship, you can go board the other ships and destroy them that way, and we'll do that in a second. So it has like a lot of interesting stuff going on there. You have your different ship abilities that I was like shooting off a little bit, but as you can see, the enemy cruise ships have to get destroyed. Me and my teammates will fight. Oh god, I was going way too fast. It could get a little disorienting flying sometimes too though. So like you just shoot them down. You can pull out an Omni, which is pretty much your item for the entire ship. I can put myself in a slingshot, which is well, it's the cannon that shoots me out of the ship into the enemy ships. So I can legitimately do this, and then I can board the ship that way. And then you just slowly take over, right? I board the ship. I'm like, hey guys, hostile takeover. What's up? You got to destroy the ship, blew up the generator. You can also take over their ship. And then you can also land, do like regular missions on some of the other game modes for that. So yeah, that's the generals of Railjack, which is the like space game mode. So I just wanted to show that off quickly because it is a big part of Warframe. If you do a lot of the side content, there's a lot of stuff to farm there. It's just not the most popular or most expanded upon game mode at all. Either way, I could probably talk about random Warframe things for hours on end, as this game is just too massive, and if you look at all my other videos, I have talked about the game for hours on end, tens of hours, hundreds of hours. It's hard to truly say when you just, you know, play so much of a game. But the game's going well, a lot of people seem to be enjoying it, so try it out if you want to. They don't really delete content the same as Destiny 2 does, but they do have a Prime Vault, which pretty much means Warframe Prime parts, think of those as like the upgraded Ultimate parts, they go on a rotation. They come in and out of the game on a monthly rotation. A lot of them are not permanently available to farm because they swap in and out of the farming tables. So the game is a little annoying like that because of how it's been set up. So you can't farm everything always 100% of the time easily, but you can still acquire everything via either trading or someone in a public match is bringing one of the primes you need. So there's a lot of systems around being constantly swapping in and out prime relics. Every single month, you're able to grab new prime relics, so it helps there, okay? It helps there, but again, the game is still free to play. It's fun, but it still has those free to play annoying quirks such as daily limits, weekly limits, caps, and forcing you to log in daily. Daily logins are good, you get platinum and some other loot, but I mean, like, they could be better. Either way, this is Should You Play Warframe starting 2025. I will have a tips and tricks video up as well for Warframe soon. That'll go over some of the things we went over this video, but just general tips and tricks for starting the game. So I hope this helped. Maybe it confused you a little more. As always, ask questions in the comments and some people may answer. And if you ever want me to make any sort of specific videos or guides, you can always let me know. I am a busy person because I could make a bajillion different Warframe videos all at once because the game could make there's any guide you could make, be refreshed. The game's just so large that it's like that, but it's always a fun time. So again, let me know what you think and I'll see you next time. Cheers.